on chapter 11, text number 6. Right.
Yeah. We completed 6.
Oh, so we're on number 7.
Yes.
Okay. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Rama Ya Kunta Made Sa Uttama Sloka Durya Ya Yashta Dandar Pitan Graya. Oh Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of God, who have accepted the Brahmanas as your worshipable deity. Your knowledge and memory are never disturbed by anxiety. You are the chief of all famous persons within this world, and your lotus feet are worshipped by sages who are beyond the jurisdiction of punishment. O Lord Ramachandra, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Text number 8. That's Canto 9, Chapter 11, text number 8. Sukadeva Goswami continued. Once, while Lord Ramachandra was walking at night incognito, hiding himself by a disguise to find out the people's opinion of himself, he heard a man speaking unfavorably about his wife, Sita Devi. Text number 9. Speaking to his unchaste wife, the man said, you go to another man's house, and therefore you are unchaste and polluted. I shall not maintain you anymore. A henpecked man, husband, like Lord Rama, may accept a wife like Sita, who went to another man's house, but I am not henpecked like him, and therefore I shall not accept you again. And this is like completely false statement, but there are always people that make statements like that, fortunately. Next, number 10. Sukadeva Goswami said, men with a poor fund of knowledge and a heinous character speak nonsensically. Fearing such rascals, Lord Ramachandra abandoned his wife, Sita Devi, although she was pregnant. Thus, Sita Devi went to the ashrama of Valmiki Muni. There are always, nasty people in this world. They say all kinds of nasty things. But the Vaishnava wants to have a wants to have uh, the the respect of the people. But every once in a while, there are some rascals that say all kinds of things, and although it might not be true, still it's devastating to hear, and therefore sometimes devotees will do things, um, even though the false accusation, they do things to stop people from saying such bad things. Text 11. When the time came, the pregnant mother Sita Devi gave birth to twin sons, later celebrated as Lava and Kusha. The ritualistic ceremonies for their birth were performed by Valmiki. O Maharaj Parikshit, Lord Lakshmana had two sons, named Angada and Chitraketu. And Lord Bharata also had two sons, named Daksha and Pushkala. Text 13 and 14. Shatrughna had two sons, named Subahu and Shrutasena. When Lord Bharata went to conquer all the directions, he had to kill many millions of Gandharvas. Wow, many million Gandharvas, who are generally pretenders. Taking all their wealth, he offered it to Lord Ramachandra. Shatrughna also killed a Rakshasa named Ravana, who was the son of Madhu Rakshasa. Thus, he established in the greatest forest known as Madhuvana the town known as Mathura. It's very famous. It's still there today. Text 15. We're on what? Text number 7, right?
15, Maharaj.
15?
Yeah.
Wow.
You just read 14.
Yeah. Text number 15. It's 13 and 14, right? Or 15.
15.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so on text number 16 or 17?
15.
15. Okay. Being forsaken by her husband, Sita Devi entrusted her two sons to the care of Valmiki Muni. Then, meditating upon the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra, she entered into the earth. It was purport by Srila Prabhupada. It was impossible for Sita Devi to live in separation from Lord Ramachandra. Therefore, after entrusting her two sons to the care of Valmiki Muni, she entered into the earth. Okay. Text number 16. After hearing the news of Mother Sita's entering the earth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was certainly aggrieved. Although he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, upon remembering the exalted qualities of Mother Sita, he could not check his grief and transcendental love. So nice. Purport. Lord Ramachandra's grief at the news of Sita Devi's entering the earth is not to be considered material. In the spiritual world also there are feelings of separation, but such feelings are considered spiritual bliss. Grief and separation exists even in the absolute, but such feelings of separation in the spiritual world are transcendentally blissful. Such feelings are a sign of tasya prema plus yatva swabhava, being under the influence of Vladini Shakti. and being controlled by love. In the material world, such feelings of separation are only a perverted reflection. Yeah, so in the pure devotees, it's genuine. It's a love and devotion. But for the materialistic people, it's some kind of a, let's say, fake, fake words, fake feelings, etc. Whereas here it says, grief and separation exists even in the absolute. But such feelings of separation in the spiritual world are transcendentally blissful. Such feelings are a sign of tasya prema, vas yatva swabhava, being under the influence of Iladini Shakti, and being controlled by love. In the material world, such feelings of separation are only a perverted reflection. There it is. Text 17. The attraction between man and woman, or male and female, always exists everywhere, making everyone always fearful. Such feelings are present even among the controllers like Brahma and Lord Shiva, and is the cause of fear for them. What to speak of others who are attached to household life in this material world? Purport. As explained above, when the feelings of love and transcendental bliss from the spiritual world are pervertedly reflected in this material world, they are certainly the cause of bondage. As long as men feel attracted to women in this material world, and women feel attracted to men, the bondage of repeated birth and death will continue. But in the spiritual world, where there is no fear of birth and death, such feelings of separation are the cause of transcendental bliss. In the absolute reality, there are varieties of feelings, but all of them are of the same quality of transcendental bliss. Now, that's a nice word. There's no lust involved here. It's pure love. Text 18. After Mother Sita entered the earth, Lord Ramachandra observed complete celibacy and performed an uninterrupted Agnihotra Yajna for 13,000 years. Wow. 13,000 years. Lord Ramachandra observed complete celibacy and performed an uninterrupted Agnihotra Yajna for 13,000 years. Text number 19. After completing the sacrifice, Lord Ramachandra, whose lotus feet were sometimes pierced by thorns when he lived in Danda Karanya, placed those lotus feet in the hearts of those who always think of him. Then he entered his own abode, the Vaikuntha planet, beyond the Brahmacharya. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The lotus feet of the Lord are always subject matter for the meditation for devotees. Sometimes when Lord Ramachandra wandered in the forest of Dandakaranya, thorns pricked his lotus feet. The devotees, upon thinking of this, would faint. The Lord does not feel pain or pleasure from any action or reaction of this material world, but the devotees cannot tolerate even the pricking of the Lord's lotus feet by a thorn. This was the attitude of the gopis when they thought of Krishna wandering in the forest with pebbles and grains of sand pricking his lotus feet. This tribulation in the heart of a devotee cannot be understood by karmis, jnanis, or yogis. The devotees who could not tolerate even thinking of the Lord's lotus feet being pricked by a thorn were again put into tribulation by thinking of the Lord's disappearance. For the Lord had to return to his abode after finishing his pastime in this material world. The word Atma Jyoti is significant. The Brahma Jyoti, which is greatly appreciated by the Jnanis or monastic philosophers who desire to enter it for liberation, is nothing but the rays of the Lord's body. Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagananda Koti Kotisraseshu Vasudadi Vibhuti Bhiyanam Tad Brahmaniskadam Anantam Asesha Bhutam Govindamati Bhusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is endowed with the great power. The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahman, which is absolute, complete, and unlimited, and which displays the varieties of countless planets with their different opulences in millions and millions of universes. Brahma Samhita 5.40. The Brahma Jyoti is the beginning of the spiritual world, and beyond the Brahma Jyoti are the Vaikuntha planets. In other words, the Brahma Jyoti stays outside the Vaikuntha planets, just as the sunshine. Similarly, when the Lord or his devotees enter the Vaikuntha planets, they go through the Brahma Jyoti. The Jnanis or monistic philosophers, because of their impersonal conception of the Lord, cannot enter the Vaikuntha planets, but they also cannot stay eternally in the Brahma Jyoti. Thus, after some time, they fall again to this material world. Avurya Krichena, Param Padam Tata Patanti Ad O Nadrita Yusmat Angraya. Bhagavatam 10.2.32. The Vaikuntha planets are covered by the Brahma Jyoti, and therefore one cannot properly understand what those Vaikuntha planets are unless one is a pure devotee. There it is. Text 20. Lord Ramachandra's reputation for having killed Ravana with showers of arrows at the request of the demigods, and for having built a bridge over the ocean, does not constitute the factual glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, whose spiritual body is always engaged in various pastimes. Lord Ramachandra has no equal or superior, and therefore he has no need to take help from the monkeys to gain victory over Ravana. Report by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in the Vedas, Shrutasvatara Upanishad 6.8, Vatashakar Yam Karanam Vidyate, Natat Samas Chabhyadikas Chadristyate, Parasya Shaktir Vividai Vasuyate, Swabhaviki Jnanabala Kriyacha. The Supreme Lord has nothing to do, and no one is found to be equal to or greater than him. For everything is done naturally and systematically by his multifarious energies. The Lord has nothing to do. Natasya karyam karanam chavidyate. Whatever he does is his pastime. The Lord has no duty to perform, to oblige anyone. Nonetheless, he appears to act to protect his devotees or kill his enemies. Of course, no one can be the Lord's enemy, since who could be more powerful than the Lord? There is actually no question of anyone's being his enemy. But when the Lord wants to take pleasure in pastime, he comes down to this material world and acts like a human being, thus showing his wonderful, glorious activities to please the devotees. His devotees always want to see the Lord victorious in varied activities, and therefore to please himself and them, the Lord sometimes agrees to act as a human being and perform wonderful, uncommon pastimes for the satisfaction of the devotees. Text 21. Lord Ramachandra's spotless name and fame, which vanquish all sinful reactions, are celebrated in all directions, like the ornamental cloth of the various elephant that conquers all directions. Great saintly persons like Markandeya Rishi still glorify his characteristics in the assemblies of great emperors like Maharaj Yudhisthira. Similarly, all the saintly kings and all the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, worship the Lord by bowing down with their helmets. Let me offer my obeisances unto his lotus feet. Text 22. Lord Ramachandra returned to his abode, in which bhakti yogis are promoted. This is the place in which all the inhabitants of Ayodhya went after they served the Lord in his manifest pastimes by offering him obeisances, touching his lotus feet, fully observing him as a father-like king, sitting or lying down with him like equals, or even just accompanying him. Purport. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Janma karma chame divyam ivam yo vititatata chakvadeham punarjanma naiti mam eti sarjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. A very important verse. Here, this is confirmed. All the inhabitants of Ayodhya who saw Lord Ramachandra as citizens served him as servants, sat and talked with him as friends, or were somehow or other present during his reign, went back to Godhead. After giving up the body, the devotee who becomes perfect in devotional service enters that particular universe where Lord Ramachandra or Lord Krishna is engaged in his pastimes. Then, after being trained to serve the Lord in various capacities in that Prakata Lila, the devotee is finally promoted to Sanatana Dhamma, the supreme abode in the spiritual world. This Sanatana Dhamma is also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. 1 second. Paras tasmat tabavo nyo vyakto vyaktat sanatana. One who enters the transcendental pastimes of the Lord is called Nitya Lila Pravista. To understand clearly why Lord Ramachandra returned, it is mentioned herewith that the Lord went to that particular place where the bhakti yogis go. The impersonalists misunderstand the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam to mean that the Lord entered his own effulgence and therefore become impersonal. But the Lord is a person, and his devotees are persons. Indeed, the living entities like the Lord were persons in the past, they are persons in the present, and they will continue to be persons even after giving up the body. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Text 23. O King Parikshit, anyone who orally receives the narrations concerning the characteristics of Lord Ramachandra's pastimes will unlimitedly be free from the disease of envy and thus be liberated from the bondage of fruitive activities. Wow, wonderful. Purport by the Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Here in this material world, everyone is envious of someone else. Even in religious life, it is sometimes found that if one devotee has advanced in spiritual activities, other devotees are envious of him. Such envious devotees are not completely freed from the bondage of birth and death. As long as one is under the completely free form, the cause of birth and death. Let's see. Such envious devotees are not completely freed from the bondage of birth and death. As long as one is not completely free from the cause of birth and death, one cannot enter the Sanatana Dhamma, or the eternal pastimes of the Lord. One becomes envious because of being influenced by the designations of the body. But the liberated devotee has nothing to do with the body, and therefore he is completely on the transcendental platform. A devotee is never envious of anyone, even his enemy, because the devotee knows that the Lord is his supreme protector. He thinks, what harm can the so-called enemy do? Thus, a devotee is confident about his protection. Now, that is a very important statement. Thus, a devotee is confident about his protection. Konteya Pratajani Nami Bhakta Pranasati. Declare it loudly, my dear devotees, that declare it loudly that my devotee will never be perished. But this is something that we have to be completely, let's say, cognizant of and have faith in. So, therefore, the devotee is not what you would call intimidated by anything, because he knows that the Lord will always protect him. The Lord says, Ye ita mam upadyante tamstataiva pachamyaham. According to the proportion of one's surrender unto me, I respond accordingly. A devotee must therefore be completely free from envy, especially of other devotees, To envy others, envy other devotees is a great offense. A Vaishnava aparada, a devotee who constantly engages in hearing and chanting, Shravanam Kirtana, is certainly freed from the disease of envy, and thus he becomes eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. Yeah, there's no place in the holy, in the holy planets for envious people. Text 24. Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, how did the Lord conduct himself and how did he behave in relationship with his brothers, who were expansions of his own self? And how did his brothers and the inhabitants of Ayodhya treat him? Very good questions. Text 25. Sukadeva Goswami replied, after accepting the throne of the government by the fervent request of his younger brother, Bharata, Lord Ramachandra ordered his younger brothers to go out and conquer the entire world, while he personally remained in the capital to give audience to all the citizens and residents of the palace and supervise the governmental affairs with his other assistants. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. The Supreme Personality of Godhead does not allow any of his devotees or assistants to be engaged in sense gratification. Well, that's good. The younger brothers of Lord Ramachandra were at home enjoying the personal presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Lord ordered them to go out and achieve victory all over the world. It was the custom, and this custom in some places is still current, that all other kings would have to accept the supremacy of the emperor. If the king of a small state did not accept the emperor's supremacy, there would be a fight, and the king of the small state would be obliged to accept the emperor as supreme. Otherwise, it would not be possible for the emperor to rule the country. Lord Ramachandra showed his favor to his brothers by ordering them to go out. Many of the Lord's devotees residing in Vrindavana have taken a vow not to leave Vrindavan to preach Krishna consciousness. But the Lord says that Krishna consciousness should be spread all over the world, in every village and every town. This is the open order of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prativite yache yata nagaradi ram sarvatma prachara haive mura nama. A pure devotee therefore must execute the order of the Lord and must not gratify his senses by remaining stagnant in one place, falsely proud, thinking that because he does not leave Vrindavana but chants in a solitary place, he has become a great devotee. A devotee must carry out the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Yare Deka Tarikaha Krishna Upadesha. Every devotee, therefore, should spread Krishna consciousness by preaching, asking whomever he meets to accept the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord says, Sarva Dharmam Parityajya Mamekam Saranam Vraja. This is the order of the Lord, who speaks as the supreme emperor. Everyone should be induced to accept this order, for this is victory, Dig Jaya, and it is the duty of the soldier, the devotee who and the devotee to impress upon everyone this philosophy of life. Of course, those who are Kanista Adhikaras do not preach, but the Lord shows mercy to them also, as he did by staying personally in Ayodhya to give audience to the people in general. One should not mistakenly think that the Lord asked his younger brothers to leave Ayodhya because he especially favored the citizens. The Lord is merciful to everyone, and he knows how to show his favor to each individual person according to his capacity. One who abides by the order of the Lord is a pure devotee. Text 26. During the reign of Lord Ramachandra, the streets of the capital, Ayodhya, were sprinkled with perfumed water and drops of perfumed liquor thrown about by elephants from their trunks. When the citizens saw the Lord personally supervising the affairs of the city in such opulence, they appreciated this opulence very much. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We have simply heard about the opulences of Raja during the reign of Lord Ramachandra. Now, here is one example of the opulence of the Lord's kingdom. The streets of Ayodhya were not only clean, but also sprinkled with perfumed water and drops of perfumed liquor, which were distributed by elephants through their trunks. There was no need of sprinkling machines, for the elephant has a natural ability to suck water through its trunk and again throw it out in a shower. We can understand the opulence of the city from this one example. It was actually sprinkled with perfumed water. Moreover, the citizens had the opportunity to see the Lord personally supervising the affairs of the state. He was not a sleeping monarch. Sleeping monarch. As we can understand from the activities in sending his brothers to see the affairs outside the capital and punish anyone who did not obey the emperor's orders. This is called Digvijaya. The citizens were all given facilities for peaceful life, and they were also qualified with appropriate attributes according to Varnashram. As we have seen from the previous chapter, Varnashrama Guna Vita, the citizens were trained according to the Varnashrama system. A class of men were Brahmanas, a class of men were Kshatriyas, a class of Vaishnavas, and a class of Sudras. Without this scientific division, there can be no question of good citizenship. The king being magnanimous and perfect in his duty, performed many sacrifices and treated the citizens as his sons. And the citizens, being trained in the Varnashram system, were obedient and perfectly ordered. The entire monarchy was so opulent and peaceful that the government was even able to sprinkle the street with perfumed water. What to speak of other management? Since the city was sprinkled with the perfumed water, we can simply imagine how opulent it was in other respects. Why should the citizens not have felt happy during the reign of Lord Ramachandra? Text 27. The palaces, the palace gates, the assembly houses, the platforms for meeting places, the temples, and all such places were decorated with golden water pots and bedecked with various types of flags. Text 28. Wherever Lord Ramachandra visited, auspicious welcome gates were constructed with banana trees and betel nut trees, full of flowers and fruits. The gates were decorated with various flags made of colorful cloth and with tapestries, mirrors, and garlands. That sounds wonderful. Text 29. Wherever Lord Ramachandra visited, the people appreciated him with paraphernalia of worship and begged the Lord's blessings. O Lord, they said, as you rescued the earth from the bottom of the sea in your incarnation as a boar, may you now maintain it. Thus we beg your blessings. Text 30. Thereafter, not having seen the Lord for a long time, the citizens, both men and women, being very eager to see him, left their homes and got up on the roofs of the palaces. Being incompletely satiated with seeing the face of the lotus-eyed Lord Ramachandra, they showered flowers. Text 31 to 34. Thereafter, Lord Ramachandra entered the palace of his forefathers. Within the palace were various treasures and valuable wardrobes. The sitting places on the two sides of the entrance door were made of coral. The yards were surrounded by pillars of Vaidurya money. The floor was made of highly polished Marakata money, and the foundations was made of marble. The entire palace was decorated with flags and garlands and bedecked with valuable stones, shining with a celestial effulgence. The place was fully decorated with pearls and surrounded by lamps and incense. The men and women within the palace all resembled demigods and were decorated with various ornaments, which seemed beautiful because of being placed on their bodies. Text 35. Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chief of the best learned scholars, resided in that palace with his pleasure potency, Mother Sita, and enjoyed complete peace. Wow. Text 36. Without transgressing the religious principles. Lord Ramachandra, whose lotus feet are worshipped by devotees in meditation, enjoyed with all the paraphernalia of the transcendental pleasure for as long as needed. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the ninth canto, 11th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Lord Ramachandra Rules the World. Okay, so now we're going to chapter 12. The dynasty of Usha, the son of Lord Ramachandra. This chapter describes the dynasty of Usha, the son of Lord Ramachandra. The members of this dynasty are descendants of Sasada, the son of Maharaja Ikshvaku. Following in the genealogical table of Lord Ramachandra's dynasty, Kusha, the Lord's son, was followed consequently by Atiti, Nishadha, Naba, Pundarika, Shemaddanva, Devanika, Aniha, Pariyatra, Balastala, Vajranava, Sadhana, and Vidkriti. These personalities ruled the world from Vidriti came Hiranyanaba, who later became the disciple of Jaimini and propounded the system of mystic yoga in which Yajnavalkya was initiated. Following in this dynasty were Pushpa, Dhruvasandhi, Sudarsana, Agnivarna, Sigra, and Maru. Maru attained full perfection in the practice of yoga, and he still lives in the village of Kalapa. At the end of this age of Kali, he will revive the dynasty of the sun god. Next in the dynasty were Prasusrutas, Sandhi, Amarsana, Mahaswam, Vishwabhanu, Prasenajit, Takshaka, and Brihadbala, who were later killed by Abhimanyu. Sukadeva Goswami said that these were all kings who had passed away. The future descendants of Brihadbala will be Brihadrana, Urukriya, Vatsavridaha, Prativyomna, Vanu, Divaka, Sahadeva, Brihadvaswa, Vanuman, Pratikasva, Supratika, Marudeva, Sunakshetra, Pushkara, Antariksha, Sutapa, Amritajit, Brihadrajya, Bodhi, Kirtan Jaya, Rana Joya, Sanjaya, Saka, Sudoda, Lagana, Prasenjaya, Nachit, Shudraka, Ranaka, Surata, and Sumita. All of them will become kings one after another. Sumitra, coming in this age of Kali, will be the last king in the Ikshvaku dynasty. After him, the dynasty will be extinguished. Wow. Text number 1. Sukadeva Goswami said, the son of Ramachandra was Kusha. The son of Kusha was Atiti. The son of Atiti was Nisanda, and the son of Nisanda was Nava. The son of Nava was Pundraka. And from Pundraka came a son named Shemad Dama. Shemad Danava. Text 2. The son of Shemad Danava was Devanika. Devanika's son was Aniha. Aniha's son was Pariyatra. And Pariyatra's son was Balastara. The son of Balastara was Vajran Nava, who was said to have been born from the effulgence of the sun god. Text 3 and 4. The sons of Vajranava, the son of Vajranava was Sadhana, and his son was Vidriti. The son of Vidriti was Hiranyanava, who became a disciple of Jaimini and became a great acharya of mystic yoga. It is from Hiranyava that the great saint Yajnavalkya learned the highly elevated system of mystic yoga known as Adhyatama yoga, which can loosen the knots of material attachment in the heart. Text number 5. The son of Hiranyanava was Pushpa, and the son of Pushpa was Dhruva Sandhi. The son of Dhruva Sandhi was Sudarshan, whose son was Agni Varna. The son of Agni Varna was named Shigra, and his son was Maru. Text number 6. Having achieved perfection in the power of mystic yoga, Madhu still lives in a place known as Kalapa Grama. At the end of Kali Yuga, he will revive the lost Surya dynasty by begetting a son. Purport. At least 5,000 years ago, Srila Sukadeva Goswami ascertained the existence of Maru in Kalapa Grama and said that Maru, having achieved a yoga siddha body, would continue to exist until the end of Kali Yuga, which is calculated to come for 432,000 years. Such is the perfection of mystic power. By controlling the breath, the perfect yogi can continue his life for as long as he likes. Sometimes we hear from the Vedic literature that some personalities from the Vedic age, such as Vyasadeva and Asvatthama, are still living. Here we understand that Maru is also still living. We are sometimes surprised that a mortal body can live for such a long time. The explanation of this longevity is given here by the word yoga siddha. If one becomes perfect in the practice of yoga, he can live as long as he likes. The demonstration of some trifling yoga siddha does not constitute perfection. Here is a factual example of perfection. A yoga siddha can live as long as he likes. There it is. Text number 7. From Maru was born a son named Prasusruta. From Prasusruta came Sandhi. From Sandhi came Amarsana. And from Amarsana a son named Mahasvan. From Mahasvan, Vishwavahu took his birth. Text number 8. From Vishwavahu came a son named Prasenajit. Prasenajit. And from Prasenajit came Takshaka. And from Takshaka came Brihadbala, who was killed in a fight by your father. Text 9. All these kings in the dynasty of Ikshwaku have passed away. Now, please listen as I describe the kings who will be born in the future. From Brihadbala will come Brihadharana. Text 10. The son of Brihadharana will be Urukriya, who will have a son named Vatsavridaha. Vatsavridaha will have a son named Prativyoma, and Prativyoma will have a son named Anu, from whom Divika, a great commander of soldiers, will take birth. Text 11. Thereafter, from Divika will come a son named Sahadeva, and from Sahadeva, a great hero named Brihadasva. From Brihadasva will come Banuman, and from Banuman will come Pratikashva. The son of Pratikashva will be Supratika. Text number 12. Thereafter, from Supratika will come Marudeva. From Marudeva, Sunakshatra. From Sunakshatra, Pushkara. And from Pushkara, Antariksha. The son of Antariksha will be Sutapa, and his son will be Amritrajat. Text 13. Are we over time now?
We are at time, Maharaj.
Okay. I'm just reading 1 or 2 more.
Yes.
Text 13. From Amitrajit will come a son named Srihadraja. From Srihadraja will come Barhi. And from Barhi will come Pitanjaya. Pitanjaya. The son of Pitanjaya will be known as Ranjanjaya. And from him will come a son named Sanjaya. Okay. Text 14. From Sanjaya will come Sakya. From Sakya will come Sudoda. Sudoda. And from Sudoda will come Mangala. From Mangala will come Prasenajit. And from Prasenajit, Kshudraka. Text 15. From Shudraka will come Ranaka. From Ranaka will come Surata. And from Surata will come Sumitra. And in the dynasty. This is a description of the dynasty of the Brihadbala. Text 16. The last king in the dynasty of Ikshvaku will be Sumitra. After Sumitra, there will be no more sons in the dynasty of the sun god, and thus the dynasty will end. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the ninth canto, 12th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Dynasty of Kusha, and the dynasty of Kusha, the son of Lord Ramachandra. Okay, I think we'll end there, right?
Yes.
Okay, and tomorrow we'll begin the dynasty of Nimi. Haribol.
Haribo.
Oh, glory to
Krishna
Srila
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki
ki jai.
jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. So, hey, school here. Okay. All right, this is done. Everything is screwed up tight. Yeah. So we'll be ready tomorrow for the dynasty of Maharaj Nimi. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare. Yes, brother. You have a question? No.
Yes, Maharaj.
Huh?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Maharaj, question is, in these chapters, so much detail has been given about the different dynasties. So, what is the takeaway that we can understand from these? Like, and at the end, it's also mentioning it's going to be destroyed as well.
Well, this gives you an idea of the different living entities in the history of the what you would call the history of the dynasty of different great personalities. Now, the next one will be chapter 13, the dynasty of Maharaj Nimi. So previous to that, we read the dynasty of other great devotees related to Lord Ramachandra.
Yes.
Just giving you an idea of the different dynasties that have come from Lord Ramachandra. A lot of history.
Yes.
A lot of history. This only proves that everything that's being said is real. It's all what you would call kept alive by the sons of Krishna. The different dynasties are all explained here. So therefore, people say, "Oh, this is all just myths." No, it's not myths. It's factual, and the factual is what's being said here. Nothing factual. It's not a myth. This is all real, and it's you cannot make something up like this.
Thank you.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.